The Ulian diplomat's mandibles clicked with smug satisfaction as he derided Earth's primitive scrap heaps that dared to call themselves starships. Captain Caleb Rice's jaw clenched. For decades, the arrogant, bug-eyed aliens belittled humanity's engineering, citing outdated propulsion and inferior alloys. Little did they suspect the UES Titan was poised to shatter their hubris for good. Xanth droned on, waving his spindly appendages dismissively at the holographic ship schematics. Rice resisted the urge to grin. The cloaking tech had performed flawlessly, concealing the behemoth supercarrier even from the Ulian's advanced sensors throughout its construction. As Xanth wrapped up his condescending tirade, Rice tapped his wristcom. "Titan Actual, this is Rice. Decloak and transmit." On the view screen, the space above the Ulian homeworld shimmered and warped, a colossal dark silhouette materializing as the cloaking field dissipated. Xanth's compound eyes bulged in disbelief as the 2-kilometer-long Leviathan dwarfed the largest Ulian warship in orbit. Stunned silence filled the bridge, the sudden paradigm shift leaving the alien leaders grappling to reconcile their long-held notions of human inferiority with the undeniable evidence of the Titan's might. Rice suppressed a smirk. Unraveling this mess would take every ounce of his diplomatic prowess. The Titan's appearance had shattered a status quo generations in the making. Some in the Ulian hierarchy would itch for a fight to neutralize the perceived threat by force. Others would advocate caution, fearing to jeopardize the lucrative trade partnership over bruised egos. As the supercarrier's shadow fell across the planet and the first recon teams prepared to debark, Rice steeled himself. To keep the fragile peace from shattering, he needed to get to the bottom of the plots and machinations already in motion behind the scenes. The Ulians would soon learn that dismissing humanity was a mistake they couldn't afford to repeat. As the Ulian leaders reeled from the Titan's sudden appearance, Captain Rice wasted no time. He turned to his first officer, Commander Ethan Reeves. "Ethan, I need you to head up a diplomatic team. Meet with the Ulian High Council and find a way to defuse this situation before it escalates." Reeves nodded, his mind focused. "Understood, Captain. I'll handpick my team and prep a shuttle immediately." Within the hour, Reeves and his team boarded a sleek, armored shuttle and launched from the Titan's hangar bay. As they descended through the planet's atmosphere, Reeves studied the sprawling Ulian capital city on the monitors, the alien architecture a dizzying array of spires and domes. Suddenly, the shuttle lurched as an explosion rocked the hull. Alarms blared and warning lights flashed red. "We're under attack," the pilot shouted, wrestling with the controls. "Looks like some kind of surface-to-air missile." Reeves gripped his restraints as the shuttle pitched and yawed. "Evasive maneuvers! Get us out of here!" The pilot wrenched the controls, sending the shuttle into a spiraling dive. Another explosion burst nearby, shrapnel pinging off the reinforced hull. Reeves caught a glimpse of sleek, angular craft pursuing them, emblazoned with unfamiliar Ulian markings. "Insurgents," he growled. "They're trying to stop us from reaching the High Council." With a series of gut-wrenching rolls and jukes, the pilot managed to evade the attackers. The shuttle, trailing smoke, limped into the landing bay of the High Council chambers. As the team disembarked, a tall, regal Ulian in flowing robes approached, flanked by a phalanx of guards. "Commander Reeves, I presume. I am Prime Minister Zoran. Please accept my deepest apologies for this unprovoked attack." Reeves eyed him warily. "Apology accepted, Prime Minister. But I have to ask, how did insurgents get their hands on such sophisticated weaponry?" Zoran's compound eyes flickered with unease. "A troubling question, Commander. One I intend to investigate thoroughly. But come, let us adjourn to the council chambers. We have much to discuss if we are to find a peaceful resolution to this crisis." As Reeves and his team followed Zoran into the vaulted chambers, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this than met the eye. The council members took their seats, some shifting uneasily, others staring at the humans with open hostility. Reeves scanned their faces, his gaze settling on one Ulian in particular, a tall, broad-shouldered figure with a hard, unyielding stare. The Minister of Defense, Krell, if Reeves remembered correctly. Something about his demeanor, The way his mandibles twitched with barely concealed aggression set off alarm bells in Reeves's mind. As the debate began, with Zoran urging diplomacy and cooperation, while Krell and his allies argued for a hardline stance, Reeves found his suspicions growing. Krell's rhetoric was inflammatory, bordering on warmongering, and there was something else, a hint of smugness in his tone, as if he knew something the others didn't. Back on the Titan, Captain Rice pored over the latest planetary scans, his brow furrowed in concentration. The door to his ready room chimed. "Enter," he called, not looking up from the data. Dr. Lena Sorensen strode in, her face grave. "Captain, I've found something. Something big." Rice looked up, his eyes narrowing at her tone. "What is it, Doctor?" She handed him a data pad, the screen filled with complex mineral analysis readouts. "Titanium X, Captain. The Ullian planet is rich in it, richer than any known deposit in the galaxy." Rice's breath caught in his throat as the implications sank in. Titanium X was the key to humanity's most advanced technologies, including the Titan's cloaking device. If the Ullians gained control of it... He met Dr. Sorensen's gaze. "Does anyone else know about this?" She shook her head. "No, sir. I came straight to you." Rice nodded slowly. "Keep it that way. Not a word to anyone, not even the Ullians. Especially not the Ullians." As Dr. Sorensen left, Rice leaned back in his chair, his mind racing. The stakes had just gotten higher than he ever imagined, and he had a sinking feeling that this was just the beginning. Captain Rice's comm unit chirped urgently. "Incoming transmission from Admiral Blackwell, sir," the communications officer announced. Rice straightened. "Put her through to my ready room." Admiral Nora Blackwell's hologram materialized, her face grim. "Captain, we have a situation. Our intelligence suggests the Ullian insurgents are being supplied by Barzans." Rice's blood ran cold. "Barzans? The arms dealer?" Blackwell nodded. "The very same. This changes everything, Rice. Barzans doesn't play games. He's after something big." As the Admiral's words sank in, Rice's mind raced. The Titanium X deposits, Krell's aggressive posturing, the attack on Reeves's shuttle, it all started to form a disturbing picture. "Thank you, Admiral. I'll handle it from here," Rice said, ending the transmission. He strode onto the bridge, barking orders. "Get me a secure line to Commander Reeves. Now." On the planet's surface, Reeves and his team crept through the labyrinthine corridors of the Ullian military complex. They'd infiltrated the facility after uncovering evidence of Krell's weapons stockpile. "Sir," whispered Lieutenant Chen, gesturing to a nearby computer terminal, "I think I've found something." Reeves peered at the screen, his eyes widening as he scrolled through classified communications between Krell and General Daxos. "This is worse than we thought," he muttered. "They're planning a coup." A distant explosion rocked the building, followed by alarms blaring. Reeves's comm unit crackled to life with Captain Rice's voice. "Commander, get out of there now! The capital's under attack!" Reeves and his team sprinted through the chaos, dodging panicked Ullians and falling debris. As they emerged onto the street, they saw the High Council chambers engulfed in flames. "Attention all citizens," Krell's voice boomed from public address systems. "Prime Minister Zoran is dead. The human terrorist responsible for this attack will be brought to justice. I am assuming emergency control of the government." Reeves cursed under his breath. "We need to get back to the Titan," he told his team. "Move!" They commandeered a ground vehicle, racing through the chaotic streets as Ullian military craft began to fill the skies. Plasma bolts rained down around them, explosions rocking the vehicle. "Almost there," Reeves growled, the shuttle bay entrance in sight. As they skidded into the hangar, Ullian troops in pursuit, the shuttle's engines were already warming up. They piled in, the hatch barely sealed before the pilot launched. "Titan, this is Reeves," he shouted into the comm. "We're coming in hot!" The shuttle broke atmosphere, weaving through incoming fire from Ullian ships. The Titan's shield snapped into place just as they cleared the hangar doors, a barrage of energy weapons splashing harmlessly against the barrier. On the bridge, Captain Rice watched grimly as the Ullian fleet assembled. Status report, he demanded. Shields holding at 98%, sir, Tactical reported. Ullian fleet outnumbers us 6-1. Dr. Sorensen burst onto the bridge, breathless. Captain, the Titanium X, it's not just a mineral. It's the key to a new energy source, more powerful than anything we've ever seen. Rice's lips pursed as the pieces fell into place. Barzans, Krell, the coup. It was all about controlling the Titanium X. Sir, communications interrupted, we're being hailed by Minister Krell. Rice nodded. On screen. Krell's mandibles clicked menacingly as his image appeared. Captain Rice, you and your crew are under arrest for the assassination of Prime Minister Zorin. Surrender now or be destroyed. Rice's mind raced, weighing options. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and out of time. But he knew the truth, and somehow he had to find a way to expose Krell's treachery before it was too late. Rice's heart made as he assessed the tactical display. The Ullian fleet loomed ever closer, their weapons primed and locked onto the Titan. He turned to Dr. Sorensen, his voice low. How confident are you in the cannon's capabilities? Sorensen's eyes gleamed with a mix of excitement and trepidation. It's untested in combat, but the simulations were promising. If it works as designed, we can disable their fleet without loss of life. Rice nodded, his decision made. Tactical, divert all available power to the main cannon, target the lead ship's weapons and propulsion systems only. The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, rerouting power and locking onto their targets. The Titan hummed with barely held back energy as the prototype cannon charged. Sir, Ullian ships entering firing range, the tactical officer reported. Rice's finger hovered over the firing control. Let's show them what humanity is truly capable of. Fire. A blinding beam of energy erupted from the Titan's bow, lancing through space. It struck the lead Ullian vessel with surgical precision, enveloping it in a crackling web of energy. The ship's weapons went dark, its engines sputtering and dying. Before the Ullians could react, the beam swept across their formation. Ship after ship fell silent, rendered impotent by the awesome power of the Titanium X cannon. On the Ullian command ship, General Daxos stared in disbelief as his fleet drifted powerless. Impossible, he whispered, mandibles quivering. Rice's voice crackled over the comm channels. General Daxos, your fleet is disabled. Stand down immediately. Meanwhile, in the hastily convened emergency council chambers, Commander Reeves presented his evidence. Holographic displays flickered with intercepted communications, financial transactions, and surveillance footage. As you can see, Reeves explained, his voice steady, Minister Krell conspired with the arms dealer Barzans to orchestrate this coup. They assassinated Prime Minister Zorin and framed us for the attack. The council members chittered in shock and outrage. One of them, a wizened Ullian with pale blue eyes, spoke up. This evidence is irrefutable. We must act swiftly to contain this threat. With Krell's loyalists in disarray and the evidence mounting, the council voted to stand down the military forces and arrest the conspirators. Krell himself was dragged away in restraints, mandibles gnashing in impotent fury. As the dust settled, General Daxos made contact with the Titan. His compound eyes darted nervously as he addressed Captain Rice. Your ship's power is beyond anything we imagined. I see now that I backed the wrong side. He paused, antenna twitching. I have information on Barzan's secret base. Perhaps it will help make amends for my misjudgment. Rice leaned forward, his interest piqued. We're listening, General. Hours later, a stealth shuttle detached from the Titan, carrying an elite strike team led by Lieutenant Chen. They approached a nondescript asteroid in a nearby system, its surface riddled with hidden hangar bays and sensor arrays. Chen's voice was barely above a whisper as they neared the airlock. Remember, our priority is securing Barzan's research data. Avoid casualties if possible, but don't hesitate if they give you no choice. The team moved swiftly through the base's corridors, their advanced armor rendering them nearly invisible to Barzan's security systems. They encountered sporadic resistance from mercenary guards, but superior training and technology allowed them to subdue most without bloodshed. In the central research lab, Chen accessed the main computer core, downloading terabytes of data on human-derived cloaking and energy tech. Payload secured, he reported, beginning exfil. Back on the Titan, Rice received Chen's transmission with a mix of relief and apprehension. One crisis averted, but he knew the repercussions of this encounter would echo across the galaxy for years to come. The next days were a flurry of negotiations. The Ulian Council, now led by moderates, grudgingly acknowledged humanity's new position of strength. Trade agreements were rewritten, technology exchange protocols established. As the Titan prepared to depart Ulian space, Rice stood on the observation deck, gazing at the alien world below. Commander Reeves joined him, his expression thoughtful. "Quite a view," Reeves remarked. "Hard to believe how much has changed in just a few days." Rice nodded, his eyes fixed on the horizon. "We've opened a door, Ethan. What lies beyond? That's the real challenge." The Titan's engines thrummed to life, propelling the massive ship towards Earth and an uncertain future. The Titan's return to Earth was met with a hero's welcome. Crowds thronged the spaceports, waving flags and cheering as Captain Rice and his crew disembarked. In the following weeks, the halls of power buzzed with activity as diplomats and military strategists pored over the details of the Ulian crisis. Rice found himself thrust into a whirlwind of debriefings, strategy sessions, and press conferences. His promotion to admiral came as little surprise, but the weight of his new responsibilities pressed heavily upon him. In his sparse moments of solitude, Rice couldn't shake a gnawing unease. The Ulians had capitulated too easily. The technology exchange felt imbalanced, tipped in humanity's favor. It was as if they were being handed the keys to the galaxy on a silver platter. 3 months after their return, Rice stood on the bridge of the reef-fitted Titan, staring at the swirling nebulae beyond the viewscreen. Commander Reeves approached, datapad in hand. "Admiral, we've detected an anomalous energy signature near the outer system," Reeves reported, his brow furrowed. "It matches the frequency of a cloaking device, but it's different, more advanced." Rice's fists tight. "Set an intercept course, maximum speed. I want all sensors at full power." As the Titan approached the coordinates, tension mounted on the bridge. The cloaking signature grew stronger, revealing not one ship, but an entire fleet. "My God," Reeves breathed as the tactical display flickered to life. Hundreds of ships, each dwarfing the Titan, hung in the void like slumbering giants. Before Rice could issue orders, a brilliant energy pulse washed over the Titan. Systems flickered and died as boarding pods punctured the hull. Alarms blared as Rice bellowed commands, organizing a desperate defense. The ship shuddered under the assault of weapons far beyond even their Titanium X prototype. A crackling energy field materialized on the bridge, coalescing into a towering, reptilian figure. Its crimson scales gleamed under the emergency lighting as it fixed Rice with cold, predatory eyes. "I am Commander Zexthal of the Vraxian Imperium," the alien's voice reverberated through the air. "Your conflict with the Ulians has not gone unnoticed. We have watched, we have learned, and now we act." Rice stood his ground, hands clenched at his sides. "What do you want from us?" Zexthal's lips curled into a mirthless smile. "Your cloaking technology, your energy research, all of it. Surrender these now or face annihilation." "Humanity will never bow to threats," Rice growled, his hand inching towards his sidearm. The Vraxian commander's eyes narrowed. "Then you choose extinction." In an instant, the bridge erupted into chaos. Vraxian soldiers poured through the doors as Rice and his crew fought desperately. Phaser fire crisscrossed the air, leaving scorch marks on consoles and bulkheads. "Reeves," Rice shouted over the din of battle, "get as many people to the shuttle bay as you can. I'll hold them here." For a moment, Reeves hesitated, torn between duty and loyalty. Then he nodded, gathering a group of officers and making a break for the emergency access tunnels. Rice and a handful of crew members held their position, buying time as the evacuation proceeded. The ship groaned and shuddered under the relentless Vraxian assault. As system after system failed, Rice made his way to the engineering deck. Emergency force fields sputtered and died around him, exposing corridors to the vacuum of space. In the reactor room, Rice worked feverishly, rerouting power and overriding safety protocols. The air grew thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burning circuits. With trembling hands, he opened a comm channel to Reeves's shuttle. "This is it, old friend. Tell Earth. Tell them to be ready." Rice's finger hovered over the final command input. Through the viewport, he could see the massive Vraxian flagship looming ever closer. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for what was to come. In that moment, all doubts and fears fell away. There was only clarity, purpose, and the cold certainty of what must be done. The Titan surged forward, its overtaxed engines screaming in protest. As it hurtled towards the Vraxian command ship, Rice closed his eyes and pressed the button. A blinding flash erupted in the darkness of space as the Titan's reactor went critical. The explosion tore through the Vraxian flagship, ripping it apart in a spectacular conflagration. In the fleeing shuttle, Reeves watched the monitor in stunned silence as the Titan and its pursuers vanished in a ball of fire. Tears stung his eyes as he input the coordinates for Earth. The shuttle's slipstream drive engaged, hurtling them towards home and an uncertain future. Reeves knew that the real battle was just beginning, and he carried with him the urgent warning of humanity's greatest threat yet.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.